Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. For centuries, history books have told us that Christopher Columbus discovered America in 1492. But what if that story is incomplete? What if another group of European explorers reached North America long before Columbus, even before the Vikings? Some researchers believe that the Knights Templar, a powerful medieval military order, may have crossed the Atlantic centuries before Spain and Portugal set their sights on the New World. The Knights Templar were one of the most influential organizations of the medieval world. Originally formed in the 12th century to protect Christian pilgrims traveling to the Holy Land, the Templars quickly grew into a powerful financial and military force. They built castles, controlled vast amounts of land, and even operated an early banking system across Europe and the Middle East. But in 1307, their order was suddenly and brutally suppressed by King Philip IV of France, who accused them of heresy, confiscated their wealth, and executed many of their leaders, including the Grand Master, Jacques de Molay. However, some historical records suggest that a significant number of Templars escaped persecution, and their final destination remains a mystery. Could these fugitive Templars have made their way across the Atlantic? Some believe there is evidence that suggests they did. In various locations across North America, unusual artifacts and symbols linked to the Templars have been discovered, objects that seem out of place in a pre-Columbian world. Among them are stone carvings, European-style swords, and even mysterious ruins that some researchers claim could be linked to the exiled knights. One of the most compelling pieces of evidence is the Kensington runestone, discovered in Minnesota in 1898. This artifact, inscribed with a mix of Old Norse and medieval Scandinavian runes, tells a cryptic story of a journey into the interior of North America in the 14th century, well before Columbus. While some scholars dismiss it as a hoax, others argue that it could be a genuine record of European exploration, possibly linked to the Templars or their allies, the Norse. Another mysterious site is the Newport Tower in Rhode Island. Unlike any known Native American structure, the tower bears architectural similarities to medieval Templar churches in Europe, particularly those in Portugal. Some theories suggest that the tower was built by Templars who reached the New World, using Portuguese or Scottish ships, possibly under the command of Henry Sinclair, a Scottish nobleman rumored to have traveled to North America in the late 1300s. But the most exciting discoveries are those being made today. In recent years, archaeologists have uncovered European-style structures, old maps, and even genetic markers that hint at pre-Columbian contact between Europeans and indigenous tribes. Some believe that the Templars, seeking refuge from persecution in Europe, may have found a new land, one where they could continue their traditions in secrecy. If true, this would rewrite everything we thought we knew about exploration and the European presence in the Americas. Could the Templars have brought their knowledge, wealth, and even religious relics to the New World? Did they leave behind clues that we are only just beginning to uncover? As we investigate the evidence, we'll explore whether the Templars truly reached America, or if this is just another legend lost to time. The Knights Templar were one of the most powerful and mysterious organizations of the medieval world. Founded in 1119, they began as a small group of knights sworn to protect Christian pilgrims traveling to the Holy Land. Over the next 2 centuries, they grew into an elite military order, fighting in the Crusades and amassing incredible wealth, influence, and secrets. But their sudden downfall in 1307 remains one of the most shocking betrayals in history, and it has fueled countless legends, including the theory that some Templars escaped with their treasure to unknown lands, possibly even North America. Rise of the Templars after the First Crusade, 1096-1099, successfully captured Jerusalem. Christian pilgrims from Europe began traveling to the Holy Land in large numbers. However, the roads were dangerous, filled with bandits and hostile forces. In 1119, a French knight named Hugues de Payan and 8 companions established a military order to protect these pilgrims. They called themselves the Poor Fellow Soldiers of Christ and of the Temple of Solomon, later known simply as the Knights Templar, because their headquarters were near the ruins of Solomon's Temple in Jerusalem. With the support of influential figures like Bernard of Clairvaux, the Templars gained recognition from the Catholic Church, and Pope Innocent II granted them special privileges, including exemption from taxes and direct authority under the Pope. Over the next 2 centuries, they became an elite fighting force, known for their disciplined combat tactics, distinctive white mantles with a red cross, and fearless charges into battle. But the Templars weren't just warriors. They were also financiers, builders, and administrators. They developed one of the first international banking systems, allowing European nobles and kings to deposit money in one Templar location and withdraw it elsewhere. They also constructed castles, fortresses, and commanderies throughout Europe and the Holy Land, making them one of the most organized and influential groups of their time. The sudden fall of the Templars. By the late 13th century, the Crusades were failing. In 1291, the last Christian stronghold in the Holy Land, Acre, fell to Muslim forces, forcing the Templars to retreat to Cyprus. Though they remained wealthy and powerful, their military purpose was fading. Then came Friday, October 13, 1307, a date that has lived in infamy. King Philip IV of France, deeply in debt to the Templars, saw an opportunity to eliminate them and seize their wealth. He accused them of heresy, blasphemy, and corruption, claiming they engaged in secret rituals, spit on the cross, and worshipped a mysterious figure named Baphomet. These charges were largely fabricated, but Philip convinced Pope Clement V to support the persecution. In a coordinated attack, Templars across France were arrested, tortured into confessing false crimes, and executed. Their Grand Master, Jacques de Molay, was burned at the stake in 1314, reportedly cursing the Pope and the King before he died. Within a few years, both Pope Clement V and King Philip IV were dead, fueling legends that the Templars' curse had come true. Did some Templars escape? Despite the mass arrests, not all Templars were captured. Many fled to Portugal, Scotland, and other parts of Europe, where they were absorbed into other orders. But some believe the Templars had a secret fleet of ships docked at the French port of La Rochelle, which mysteriously disappeared just before the arrests. Where did these ships go? Some historians suggest that the Templars sailed west, possibly to North America, carrying their treasure, knowledge, and secrets. This theory is based on unusual stone carvings, ancient maps, and structures like the Newport Tower in Rhode Island, which some claim resemble Templar architecture. Others believe that the Templars influenced early explorers like the Portuguese and Scottish navigators, who may have followed their routes centuries before Columbus. Did the Templars vanish into history, or did they find a new home in a land yet to be officially discovered? As we explore more evidence, we may find that their story is far from over. For centuries, historians believe that European exploration of North America began with Leif Erikson's Viking expeditions around 1000 AD, followed by Christopher Columbus in 1492. But some theories suggest that another group, the exiled Knights Templar, may have secretly reached America long before Columbus, possibly bringing their treasure, knowledge, and influence with them. Could the Templars have crossed the Atlantic? When King Philip IV of France launched his brutal persecution of the Knights Templar in 1307, many Templars were arrested, tortured, and executed. But some managed to escape, and the biggest mystery is where they went. One of the most intriguing clues lies in the port of La Rochelle, France. This was a major Templar naval base, and historical records suggest that a fleet of Templar ships disappeared from the harbor just before the mass arrests. If the Templars had access to ships and extensive maritime knowledge, where could they have gone? Possible Templar destinations after their escape. Scotland was one of the few places where the Templars may have found refuge after their persecution. At the time, King Robert the Bruce was excommunicated by the Pope due to his conflict with England, meaning he had little reason to obey orders from the Vatican. Some believe that exiled Templars joined forces with Robert the Bruce, helping him win a crucial victory at the Battle of Bannockburn in 1314. The Rosslyn Chapel, built in the 1400s by descendants of Scottish nobles, contains mysterious carvings, including what some claim are representations of New World plants like maize, corn, and aloe, which shouldn't have been known in Europe before Columbus. If true, this could suggest early Scottish or Templar contact with North America. 2. Portugal and the Order of Christ. After the suppression of the Templars, many surviving members found safety in Portugal, where King Dinis III refused to prosecute them. Instead, he rebranded them as the Order of Christ, which later played a key role in Portugal's Age of Exploration. The most famous member of the Order of Christ was Prince Henry the Navigator, the driving force behind Portugal's expeditions in the 1400s. Some historians believe that the Templars' hidden maps and navigational knowledge influenced Portugal's successful exploration of the Atlantic. Could this mean that Templar survivors, or at least their knowledge, helped guide explorers toward the Americas long before Columbus? North America, the ultimate refuge? Some researchers believe that rather than stopping in Scotland or Portugal, at least some Templars continued westward, all the way to North America. This theory is based on mysterious artifacts, stone carvings, and structures that some claim bear Templar symbolism. Templar-connected theories in North America. Oak Island and the Templar treasure. One of the most famous connections between the Templars and North America is Oak Island, located off the coast of Nova Scotia, Canada. This small island is home to a legendary treasure site known as the Money Pit, a deep and complex underground structure that has baffled treasure hunters for over 2 centuries. Some researchers believe that Templars fleeing Europe hid their treasure here, possibly including sacred relics such as the Holy Grail or the Ark of the Covenant. This theory is based on strange symbols and stone carvings on Oak Island that resemble Templar crosses and Masonic symbols. The presence of an underground flood tunnel system, which mirrors medieval Templar engineering techniques. The fact that Scottish explorers, including members of the Sinclair family, were active in the region before Columbus. Could Oak Island be the final resting place of the lost Templar treasure? The Newport Tower, Rhode Island. Another mysterious structure often linked to the Templars is the Newport Tower in Rhode Island. This stone tower does not match typical Native American or early colonial architecture. Instead, it closely resembles Templar round churches found in Europe, particularly in Portugal and Scotland. Some theorists believe the tower was built by Templars or their descendants who had established a secret foothold in the New World. One possible candidate is Henry Sinclair, a Scottish nobleman with ties to the Templars, who some claim sailed to America in 1398, almost a century before Columbus. Theories versus mainstream history. Most mainstream historians dismiss the idea that the Templars reached America. They argue that there is no definitive proof of Templar artifacts in North America. Many of the so-called Templar carvings and symbols could have been created centuries later by Freemasons or other secret societies. The architectural similarities between the Newport Tower and European Templar buildings could be coincidental. However, the lack of hard evidence does not necessarily disprove the theory. The Templars were known for their secrecy, and if they did make it to America, they might have left behind only subtle clues rather than obvious markers of their presence. Final thoughts? Did the Templars reach America? The idea remains one of the most fascinating historical mysteries. While definitive proof has yet to be found, the connections between the Templars, Portugal's Order of Christ, Scottish explorers, and early North American artifacts continue to fuel debate. If the Templars did escape across the Atlantic, they may have played a hidden role in shaping exploration long before Columbus set sail in 1492. Whether their influence was direct or passed down through secret societies, their knowledge, maps, and perhaps even their treasures could still be waiting to be discovered. The Kensington runestone and other mysterious artifacts, evidence of pre-Columbian European contact. For centuries, mainstream history has credited Leif Erikson's Viking expeditions around 1000 AD and Christopher Columbus in 1492 as the key moments of European contact with North America. However, a growing number of artifacts and structures found across the US and Canada suggest that Europeans, possibly including the Knights Templar, may have reached North America much earlier than previously believed. Could these mysterious findings be evidence of lost voyages, secret settlements, or even a Templar presence in the New World? The Kensington runestone, Minnesota, 1898. One of the most controversial and intriguing artifacts is the Kensington runestone, discovered in 1898 by a Swedish immigrant farmer, Olof Oman, in Kensington, Minnesota. The text translates roughly to, "We are 8 Goths, Swedes, and 22 Norwegians on an exploration journey from Vinland to the west. We had camped by 2 skerries 1 day's journey north from this stone. We were fishing one day. After we came home, we found 10 men red with blood and dead. Ave Maria, save us from evil." The back of the stone has the numbers 1362, which many take as the year of the expedition. Does the runestone prove pre-Columbian European presence? The Kensington runestone remains a heated debate in historical and archaeological circles. Some believe it provides solid proof that Scandinavian explorers reached deep into North America in the 14th century, well before Columbus. Supporters argue that the linguistic structure of the runes aligns with medieval Swedish and Norwegian styles. The runestone's weathering suggests it could be centuries old. It may indicate that Norse explorers traveled farther inland than previously believed. Skeptics, however, suggest that the inscription could be a modern hoax, as 19th-century Scandinavian settlers in Minnesota were familiar with runes. There are anomalies in the language and rune forms that don't match known 14th-century examples. No other confirmed Norse artifacts have been found in the area. Despite the controversy, the Kensington runestone continues to spark theories about early European exploration, including the idea that Templars or their descendants could have been involved. The Newport Tower, Rhode Island. Another perplexing structure linked to pre-Columbian European explorers is the Newport Tower, an old stone structure in Rhode Island that some claim is of medieval European origin. What is the Newport Tower? Located in Turo Park, Newport, this circular stone tower stands 28 feet, 8.5 meters tall. It consists of 8 pillars supporting stone arches, resembling medieval round churches built by the Knights Templar in Europe. Some researchers believe the tower may have been built before Columbus, possibly by Norse explorers, Templars, or early Portuguese navigators. The Templar theory, some claim that Henry Sinclair, a Scottish nobleman with alleged Templar ties, sailed to North America in 1398 and may have built the Newport Tower as a church or watchtower. Architectural similarities exist between the Newport Tower and Templar-built structures in Scotland and Portugal, such as the Church of the Holy Sepulchre in Cambridge, England. Astronomical alignments in the tower suggest it may have served a navigational or religious purpose, rather than being a mere colonial windmill as some historians suggest. The Westford Knight, Massachusetts. In Westford, Massachusetts, an unusual rock carving has fueled speculation that a medieval European knight may have once set foot in North America. What is the Westford Knight? The carving, found on a glacial rock ledge, depicts what some claim is a medieval knight with a sword and shield. Some believe this carving represents Sir James Gunn, a 14th-century Scottish nobleman who was allegedly part of Henry Sinclair's secret voyage to North America in 1398. The carving appears to show a sword with a cross-shaped hilt, resembling Templar-style weaponry. Could it be evidence of pre-Columbian European contact? Supporters of the theory argue that the carving matches medieval European styles, particularly those associated with Scottish and Norse explorers. If Henry Sinclair's expedition did occur, it would mean Europeans mapped and explored parts of North America long before Columbus. Skeptics, however, believe the carving could be a natural rock formation or a later colonial-era creation. Templar crosses and symbols. Found in North America, throughout New England and Canada, there have been multiple discoveries of carvings, coins, and artifacts that some claim bear Templar insignia. Carvings of the Templar Cross. Some stone carvings in Nova Scotia and the northeastern U.S. bear a striking resemblance to the Templar cross, a unique cross design used by the order. One notable carving near Oak Island appears to show a Templar-style cross with a sword, which has led to speculation that Templars reached Nova Scotia centuries ago. 2. Medieval coins and artifacts. A 14th-century European coin was discovered in Ai, a New England excavation, suggesting early European trade or settlement. Some old maps from the Order of Christ, the successor to the Templars in Portugal, show landmasses that resemble parts of North America, hinting at secret knowledge. Conclusion. Did the Templars or other pre-Columbian Europeans reach America? The Kensington runestone, Newport Tower, Westford Knight, and other artifacts present fascinating clues that suggest pre-Columbian European explorers may have set foot in North America long before Columbus. Could the Templars have influenced Native American cultures? The idea that the Knights Templar may have reached North America before Columbus is already a bold claim. But an even more intriguing possibility is that they may have interacted with Native American tribes, influencing their culture, symbols, and possibly even their legends. Could there be evidence of early European contact embedded in indigenous stories, artifacts, or traditions? Let's examine the theories, historical clues, and what this could mean for history. Indigenous legends of early European visitors. Many Native American tribes have oral histories of strange foreign visitors who arrived long before Columbus. Some of these stories describe people who do not resemble Norse Vikings, but instead wear white robes, bear crosses, or wield advanced knowledge, details that some believe could be linked to the Knights Templar. The Mi'kmaq and the legend of the white men. The Mi'kmaq people of Nova Scotia have stories about mysterious white men from across the ocean who arrived centuries before European settlers. Some versions of these tales suggest that these strangers taught the Mi'kmaq certain technologies or building techniques, carried symbols resembling the Christian cross, which could hint at Templar influence, had peaceful interactions with the indigenous people, unlike later European colonizers. Interestingly, some of the Mi'kmaq petroglyphs, rock carvings, depict crosses and sword-like shapes, similar to the insignia of the Knights Templar. The Zuni tribe and possible European DNA links. One of the most debated theories involves the Zuni people of the American Southwest, who some researchers claim have linguistic and genetic links to Europeans. The Zuni language is unique, with no clear relation to other Native American languages. Some researchers believe it contains elements of Basque or Old European dialects. Some Zuni oral traditions describe bearded foreigners who came from across the sea. There have been isolated genetic studies suggesting certain European markers exist in the Zuni population, though this remains controversial. Could it be possible that European explorers, Templars or others, made contact with the Zuni people, influencing their culture or language? Templar symbols and Native American parallels. Another piece of circumstantial evidence lies in the symbols used by both the Knights Templar and indigenous cultures. The cross symbol. The Knights Templar were known for their distinctive cross, a red cross patty, broad, equal-length arms that curve outward. Similar cross-like designs have been found in Native American artwork, particularly in petroglyphs in the northeastern United States and Canada. Some argue that these cross symbols could have been introduced by pre-Columbian European visitors. The circle and cross motif. Many Native American tribes, including the Hopi and Mandan, used a circle with a cross inside it as a spiritual symbol. The Templars also used a similar circular cross design in their iconography, particularly in churches and sacred sites. Could this be a coincidence, or did early interactions introduce this symbol into indigenous art? Possible Templar-Native trade and cultural exchange. If the Templars did reach North America, what kind of interaction would they have had with indigenous peoples? Trading possibilities. The Templars were skilled merchants and navigators with connections to Portugal's Order of Christ, which later influenced explorers like Prince Henry the Navigator. If they reached North America, they could have traded European metalwork, cloth, and tools in exchange for native goods like furs, food, or knowledge of the land. Some historians argue that European-style swords and coins found in indigenous sites could support the idea of pre-Columbian contact. Knowledge sharing. The Knights Templar were deeply interested in esoteric knowledge, including ancient construction methods, navigation, and astronomy. Some believe that Native American tribes may have adopted certain techniques or knowledge from European visitors. A controversial theory suggests that the geometric layouts of some ancient indigenous sites bear similarities to medieval European sacred geometry. Could the Templars have settled among native tribes? One of the most radical ideas is that some of the Templars, after fleeing persecution in Europe, integrated into Native American societies and left descendants. The Mandan people, a now nearly extinct indigenous group, were often described by early explorers as having lighter hair and blue or gray eyes, a striking contrast to most Native American groups. Some early European explorers, including Prince Madoc's Welsh expedition theory, suggested that Europeans had settled among Native American tribes long before Columbus. Could some survivors of a lost Templar voyage have merged with indigenous groups, leaving behind subtle traces of European genetics or culture? Conclusion: did the Templars influence Native American cultures? While there is no definitive proof, the combination of oral histories, mysterious symbols, and genetic anomalies raises fascinating questions. If the Knights Templar, or their successors, reached North America, their interactions with indigenous peoples could have ranged from trade and cultural exchange to direct integration into tribal societies. Even if the Templars themselves never made it, could their Portuguese, Scottish, or Norse allies have carried forward their influence, leaving hidden traces in Native American history? This remains one of the greatest historical mysteries, one that challenges everything we think we know about pre-Columbian America. Why would history cover this up? The idea that the Knights Templar or other European groups reached America before Columbus is a theory that, if true, would dramatically alter our understanding of history. But if this were the case, why is it not widely accepted or taught? In schools, history is not just a collection of facts, it's a narrative shaped by those in power. Some historical theories challenge the established order, leading to resistance, suppression, or outright dismissal. Let's explore why mainstream history has been reluctant to accept or investigate the possibility of pre-Columbian European contact with America. The dominance of the Columbus narrative. For centuries, we have been taught a simple and widely accepted version of history. In 1492, Columbus discovered America under the sponsorship of Spain. His voyages led to the European colonization of the New World. This event marks the official beginning of European involvement in the Americas. But what if this version of history is not entirely accurate? Why the Columbus narrative took over national and imperial pride? Spain's claim to the New World was based on Columbus's voyages. If it were proven that Templars, Portuguese explorers, or even Vikings had arrived earlier, it could undermine Spain's historical legacy and shift the credit elsewhere. Colonial justification. European powers justified their colonization by claiming they were bringing civilization to a new world. If it were widely accepted that advanced cultures, either Native American or pre-Columbian European visitors, had already established contact, it could have undermined this justification. Textbook history and simplicity. The Columbus story is simple, easy to teach, and universally recognized. A more complex, multi-civilization narrative would require rewriting large parts of history books. Resistance to challenging mainstream historical accounts. Academia and mainstream historians often resist radical shifts in historical narratives. Some of the reasons include institutional inertia. Historical institutions, universities, and textbooks have been built around a linear, Eurocentric version of history. Changing this means admitting past mistakes, which many scholars are reluctant to do. Funding for archaeological research often comes from established institutions, which may hesitate to support theories that challenge mainstream beliefs. 2. Fear of fringe theories. Alternative history theories, especially those about pre-Columbian transatlantic travel, have sometimes been associated with pseudoscience or conspiracy theories. Mainstream historians often dismiss these ideas outright, rather than engaging with the evidence. Even if legitimate clues exist, they risk being ignored because of association with more extreme claims, e.g., aliens, lost civilizations. 3. The role of the Church. The Catholic Church played a major role in shaping historical narratives during the Middle Ages and Renaissance. If the Knights Templar, or their successors, had reached America, it could suggest that the Vatican, or secret religious orders, knew about the New World centuries before Columbus. Some theories even suggest that hidden documents in the Vatican archives could prove pre-Columbian European voyages. If true, this would mean Europe knew about America long before 1492. If the Templars, or other European groups, reached America before Columbus, this would mean secret knowledge was suppressed rulers, and governments may have kept this information hidden for political reasons. Certain powerful groups, like the Vatican or European royal families, might have wanted to control exploration and colonization efforts. History would have to be rewritten. This would challenge the idea that Columbus was the first European to reach America. School textbooks, museum exhibits, and historical institutions would have to acknowledge earlier transatlantic voyages. New discoveries could change everything. If more artifacts, writings, or buried historical records come to light, we may have to completely reevaluate our understanding of pre-Columbian history. Could there be more hidden clues in remote locations, archives, or even the Vatican Library? Conclusion: a story waiting to be uncovered. Whether or not the Knights Templar truly reached America, one thing is clear: history is written by the victors. The dominant Columbus narrative has persisted because it fits into a structured, Eurocentric version of history, one that serves national and institutional interests. But as new evidence emerges, we may find that hidden chapters of history are waiting to be uncovered. Could the Templars have left behind clues, artifacts, or even descendants in North America? And if so, why has this knowledge been buried for so long? The past may hold more secrets than we ever imagined. Final verdict: myth or reality? The idea that the Knights Templar reached America before Columbus is one of the most intriguing historical mysteries. Over the past hour, we've explored the history of the Templars and their possible escape after their downfall, artifacts and structures in North America that some claim as evidence of their presence, theories about their interactions with indigenous peoples, and the possibility of hidden knowledge. Reasons why mainstream history might resist this idea and suppress alternative narratives. But after weighing the evidence, does the theory hold up, or is it just another historical myth? Strongest evidence supporting the Templar. America Theory, the Kensington Runestone, 1362. Found in Minnesota in 1898, this artifact is inscribed with runes suggesting Norse or medieval European presence in the 14th century. Some researchers believe it was left by a Templar expedition, potentially connecting them to Viking explorers. However, skeptics argue it's a modern forgery. The Newport Tower, Rhode Island, a mysterious stone structure with possible European medieval architecture. Some theories claim it was built by Templars or their successors, while others believe it was simply a 17th century windmill. The Westford Knight, Massachusetts, a rock carving of what appears to be a medieval knight. Supporters believe it represents a Templar or European traveler from the 14th century. However, mainstream historians suggest the carving may be a natural rock formation. Templar crosses and symbols found in North America. Various sites have markings, carvings, and symbols that resemble Templar insignia. Critics argue that similar symbols appear in multiple cultures and could be coincidence rather than proof of a Templar voyage. Templar seafaring connections. The Templars had strong ties to maritime powers, including the Portuguese Order of Christ, which later funded explorers like Prince Henry the Navigator. Some believe they had knowledge of secret sea routes to the Americas. Counter-arguments. Could the evidence be misinterpreted? Despite the compelling clues, there are several reasons why mainstream historians reject the Templar America theory. Lack of conclusive written records. No surviving medieval documents mention Templars traveling to America. Explorers kept detailed logs, yet there is no direct mention of America in Templar records. The Viking factor. We know that Norse explorers, such as Leif Erikson, reached North America around 1000 AD. If any pre-Columbian Europeans were in America, they were more likely Vikings, not Templars. Many Templar artifacts could be hoaxes. The Kensington Runestone is highly controversial, with many experts calling it a modern forgery. The Westford Knight carving may just be natural erosion. Some so-called Templar symbols in North America may have other explanations, such as Freemasons, who adopted Templar iconography centuries later. No DNA or physical remains. If Templars reached America, we would expect to find European graves, bones, or settlements. So far, no definitive medieval European remains have been found in the locations linked to the Templar theory. Final verdict. A fascinating possibility, but no definitive proof so. Were the Knights Templar in America before Columbus? Possibly, but there is no undeniable proof. The artifacts and theories we've explored today raise fascinating questions, but they lack solid, irrefutable evidence that would force historians to rewrite history. That doesn't mean the case is closed. New discoveries could change everything. If archaeologists were to uncover a Templar shipwreck off the American coast, a medieval European settlement predating Columbus, a confirmed written record of a voyage to the New World, then the entire history of pre-Columbian exploration might have to be rewritten. Until then, this remains a mystery waiting to be solved. What do you think? Is this theory just a historical myth, Or do you believe the Templars made it to America? Do these artifacts and clues hold real weight, or are they misinterpretations? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. And if you enjoyed this deep dive into hidden history, don't forget to like this video, subscribe for more untold stories. Hit the bell icon so you never miss a new upload. History is full of mysteries, and together we can uncover them. See you in the next video.